This is Mr. Sackman, Steve H. Sackman's administration office here in Othello, Washington, which their increments are having fully aware of the COVID-19 virus that's breaking out. It's 2 million, 3 million, now it's up to 4 million versus the 1 million, 2 million deaths. Now it's the 3 million, 4 million results of swabbing, and also cardiovascular. They're doing the blood testing versus the blood test versus swab, which is 4 million tests have been accomplished versus the 1 million, 2 million, 3 million death toll for the virus. And the virus's peak has pretty much plummeted to its extremities of saving hundreds, thousands, millions of people, of increments of excluding the services. Mr. and Mrs. Donald Trump and Melania Trump, which is at the Red Lion. Donald Trump sits at the Red Lion with Felix Barela at the Red Lion, and Donald Trump is with Felix Barela at the Red Lion. And increments on the testing was increments for 2 million, 3 million tests, which be moderated. And this is Steve H. Sackman's right across from the street where City Hall is at. And City Hall is covered in the view services. You can see they mentioned their services and increments. This is Steve H. Sackman's administration office here in Othello, Washington. The increments on the toll, or the death toll, from 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, which is now it's 4 million successful tests that have been accomplished for testing the increments on the services. And this is Othello, Washington, and this is, of course, OLYMPIA Bank. OLYMPIA Bank is in the parking lot, and this is Steve H. Sackman, and the administration office is Mr. Donald Trump's at the Red Lion with Felix Barela, and then increments with Felix Barela. Increments for the test was 2 million, 3 million, and it's going to save thousands, millions of lives. And the balance for the services for 4 million tested and affected and deceased is 1 million, 2 million, and the peaks up to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and the peaks are effectively results or increments. And we're at the Red Kavanaugh's and Red Lion here in Kennewick, Washington, Andy Miller's office, Andy Miller at CO Benton, Washington, U.S. And this is the SAC administration office, which is Kerr. And Mr. Eric D. Olson is his results and his services. He's proved negative on his testing. He's not affected. Mr. Eric D. Olson, which is where the incident happened from September 27th, 2019, and also December 3rd, 2018. Same police officer that attacked me on the sidewalk at Base and Insurance Company and the bowling alley at Cimaron 5IC, and I'm crossing the street crosswalk and they attacked me. Same individual. So the testing is occur. Mr. Red Lion, Mr. Donald Trump, picks up the phone and also the services at the Westlaw service, which is the Thomson Reuters, the online for the Andy Miller app for the Washington Bar Association, 719, and it's going to be updated in increments. And this is Sackman's office, and this is OLYMPIA Bank. We got cameras and services and body cams and services. Mr. J. Felice, Mr. McKinnon Law Firm on Olive, Mr. Mrs. Rhonda Kaiser, Mueller's Funeral Administration Office. And also Frank Kamiska and Jay Mueller at 1401 South Union. That's a coroner's office in Kennewick, Washington. Andy Miller office, 7112 West Okanagan Place, Kennewick, Washington. This is Steve H. Sackman's. And on the sidewalk, and this individual police officer has get out of his way using his taser and also his services, and also didn't take me to the hospital. Now I went to the hospital. Mr. Donald Trump and Melania Trump over at Moses Lake International Airport. We have Boeing and also airport services at the Fairchild Spokane, and also airport here in Pasco, and also the airport in Kennewick. And there are services for Interpol system for the aviation compound facility for protecting all arraignments or raise services for Mr. Donald Trump. So the peak services, there's 4 million testing, and the peak is going to be 2-3 million deceased for the effective, and also at 7112 Okanagan Corners off Kennequash 99336. We have a moderated individual service. This is City Hall, 500 East Main Street, across the street, where the new renovation of the City Hall, the driveway, the asphalt, the whacking, and the core interior services for the laying down the felt for the rocks and also the shrubs. Now the kitty cat is very healthy. COVID-19 has not affected the cat at Steve H. Sackman's attorney-in-law office, family-in-law, and the service that they got. Mrs. Kitty Cat is not affected at all. The cat is very healthy. Increments of services, and of course, our cat is very, very healthy. Very healthy. For that reasoning. For that reasoning, as healthy as any individual cat can be. The cat is very, very healthy. Especially Othello, Washington. Mr. Stephen Leeson, Sacramento H, and also Mr. Brandon West have been conference called with Carol J. Benzel. Attorney office. She's the judge for district court. She's the one that found me at the Superior Court in Dixon's office. In Dixon, Superior Court, Adams County, 220 Bradway, P.O. Box 187. And she's pretty much upset finding that the officer attacked me on the sidewalk. And there's Mr. Eric D. Olson asked for the body cam, and also the judge's administration office at Andy Miller's office is requesting for the body cam at Moses Lake and here in Othello. Now we got the COVID-19, and increments of Mr. Donald Trump is at the red line with Felix Barela, with me. And we're getting download the information, increments on all the data information received. And also the Washington Bar Association, which is my law books, my Washington State court rules, and also my federal guidelines for my Washington Bar, which is Washington State Bar, which is online as COVID-19 is on. And also the governor of Jay Inslee retrieved all the information with Carol J. Benzel and also Mr. Andy Miller at C.O. Benton, Washington. The Prosecuting Administration Office retrieved all this data and recovery and this information December 3rd, 2018, and also September 2019. Friday 27th at Mr. Eric D. Olson, the property lines where this incident happened. And also going to the doctor to make sure injuries were listed down and documented by the nurses and doctors. So now the COVID-19 is at 3 to 4 million, 4 million tested, and also 2 to 3 million, saving millions, thousands of lives for the services for Mr. Brandon West, who was contacted with conference call Carol J. Benzel, Administration Office, and the services condone the service. Mr. McKinnon Law Firm and Freda Courthouse, Mr. Tabler Wallace, Ken Chadwick, and Natalie at the Reagan, Miss Reagan at the 56 Tabler West, and also McKinnon, Mr. McKinnon Law Firm, Mr. James McGee, and their secretaries and staff, and also John Cooney Law Firm, and also Mr. Jim Cooney, and all Mr. Schwab and Miss Schwab and Becky Schwab Law Firm here in Moses Lake Administration. I can download all this information.